If you pay any attention to news about U.S. agriculture, you've probably heard the word risk a lot lately. There are two reasons for that. The first is because right now Congress is in the process of negotiating a new farm bill, and crop insurance, a form of risk management for farmers, is at the center of the debate. You're also hearing it because we're experiencing one of the worst droughts in recent history, and it's become suddenly very clear to everyone that farming is a risky business. But despite all the talk about crop insurance, farmers actually deal with risk in very different ways, depending on the crops they grow and how they grow them.
You know, it's interesting. I really don't notice it that much anymore, but it is a risky way to make a living.
That's fruit grower Mike Brownfield. He grows organic apples, pears, peaches, and other tree fruits in central Washington, near a town called Chelan, about 100 miles south of the Canadian border.
The highest possible risk would be a very bad weather event. Whether a hailstorm would probably be number one. And then, of course, extreme freeze or frost events.
Just like the corn and soybean growers in the Midwest, who are going through one of the worst droughts of their lifetime, Brownfield stands to lose an entire crop if the weather turns on him. But unlike those farmers, Brownfield doesn't have crop insurance.
You can get crop insurance. Generally speaking, you have to be pretty wiped out for it to really be helpful. It's not a real straightforward process. And our costs are so much higher than a conventional grower that it just didn't make sense to gain $100 an acre when your costs were thousands.
Brownfield Orchard was the first farm in the state of Washington to become certified organic. That was a decision Brownfield's dad made.
My father, John Brownfield, took over in the late 60s, began looking into organic farming in the early 70s. He did not like working with the chemicals, especially the insecticides that were commonly in use at that time.
Being organic means that Brownfield has access to premium markets and higher prices. But it also puts him in a special category when it comes to risk management and crop insurance. Even though several studies have shown that organic agriculture outperforms non-organic during droughts or heavy rains, the United States Department of Agriculture considers organic farming riskier than non-organic. So organic farms who want insurance have to pay a 5% surcharge on their premiums. And then, if the farm gets wiped out, they get reimbursed at conventional prices, not organic. So they might not even get back what it costs to produce the crop. For that reason, Brownfield manages risk in a different way.
For us, having diversity of crops has made a difference. A certain variety of apple is not always going to have a great year for you. And so that's why we've diversified so much in our crops and in our marketing.
Diversity is a proven strategy for decreasing risk on a farm. But the climate is changing fast, something Brownfield is already feeling in his orchard.
The trends I've noticed in the last few years is that we do seem to be hitting more extremes on a more regular basis. Last spring was one of the coolest springs on record. We had a freeze 2 Thanksgivings ago, so to Thanksgiving 2010, that was the most severe at that time that's happened for, I don't know how long, 50 years or a long time. So it does seem that the extremes are a little more frequent, and I sure know just in observing the conditions in our state, things like glaciers have been disappearing really for 50 years or more. I mean, probably even more than that, probably 100.
A Washington state study found that spring snowpack, which is a key source of irrigation for farms like Brownfield's, will likely decrease in that state by about 30% over the next 10 years and almost 60% by 2080. For Mike Brownfield, that means planning far ahead. And for the rest of us, it means thinking hard about whether our agriculture policies will truly support all farmers and our food supply as the planet warms up and as weather extremes that even the most diversified farmers can't endure increase.